Yes, it's good. In fact, it's great. Go see it. Okay, review's over. You can fuck off. Oh, you're still here. I guess you want to hear my thoughts then. So last night, I saw the movie Iron Lung by renowned film director Markiplier. Joking aside, this is his first directorial debut, and if you've heard the name Markiplier at all in passing in the last couple of years or so, you've known this movie has been in the works for quite a while, and to say it's been highly anticipated doesn't even begin to cover it. I mean, with the amount of support the film has gotten, with initial theater size being only like 50 theaters to start off with, and it being across the entire states, like you could probably go to any random theater now and you'll find it if you're in the States, and it's even gone beyond that to be pretty worldwide with more and more theaters putting the film out there. I mean, the fact that it's grossed 20 million alone in this first weekend for its own budget and the scale it originally was. I mean, to say this movie is a sensation at the moment is like saying VTubers only get me semi-erect. That is to say, doesn't even begin to cover it. Now, before I saw this film, I tried to avoid as much as I could. I didn't want to be spoiled. I wanted to know what the film was about, blah, 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 blah. But I saw some initial reactions, and I saw some that were kind of extreme, and saying that this was the worst film ever made. Oh, it's another piece of YouTube slop. This is absolutely horrid. How could this ever be made? Oh, blah, 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 blah. Which I had a feeling that's just rage bait. It's just made to get engagement because this is the whole big topic at the moment, especially in the whole online sphere. But I would be lying if it didn't put a tiny seed of doubt in the back of my helmet that maybe somewhere along production, things got fucked up. Maybe the end product was kind of a stinker, and that they gave it their best effort, but, it didn't come through. That happened. And I'm just here to say, that's complete bullshit. Alright, so let me just say this. This film is not going to be for everyone, and taste is subjective, yada yada yada, blah blah blah, all that shit. But I feel, at least on an objective level, what was accomplished is at minimum impressive, and I would personally say, fucking astounding. Now, I will say this. You're gonna get the most out of this if you've already played Iron Lung or watched the playthrough of the original Iron Lung game. And if you're a fan of the property and the lore associated with it, you're gonna have a good time. So yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of Iron Lung, like the actual game, you've already seen it, you don't need to tell me to go see it. But I will say this, if you've not seen it and you're a fan of eldritch horror and, large matters outside of our, comprehension, what the fuck is going on? If you like that kind of stuff, Lovecraftian type shit, you'll like this film, because I believe that's one of the best aspects of it, is that it does eldritch horror incredibly. I think it did a fantastic job with that. And I have come to learn, seeing some reviews, that a lot of the general public does not fuck with eldritch horror. Hell, they don't even know how to process it. In some ways that's fitting, but I digress. But yeah, I mean, you already know that I like it, so let's go over some of the pros that I felt. Number one, the directing. I think for this being Markiplier's directorial debut, it was phenomenal. I felt like the shot composition was great, how things were framed were great, and I thought that, they did a great job. I mean, I'm being redundant here, just saying, oh, it's great, 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 but that's all I could really think about it. I mean, I guess here's a con, here's a negative I'm going to put out. The first 30 minutes are a little rough. Not bad, just a little bit rough, because I felt at some points at the beginning, I was not really seeing the character of, god damn it, what's his name? Percy? Fuck me, 1 second. Simon, fuck me, why did I forget his name? I guess that kind of goes to showing the con, is that even that at first I did not see the character of Simon. I was just seeing Markiplier, I was just seeing Mark Fishback there. Not saying that's a bad thing, because I have watched hours upon hours of hours, I mean, probably even like weeks from this point, of Markiplier content, whether that be through podcasts and video games. So having that disconnect for me personally of seeing the character, Simon, and seeing the difference between Markiplier, I feel that part of me is a me thing, because again, I spent so much time with him as a creator that having a disconnect will be difficult. And that first 30 minutes, yeah, I kind of just saw Markiplier. Not a bad thing, that's just a me thing. And I will say, just the way things looked in the first 30 minutes, put simply, it looked very YouTube show-esque. If you don't know what that fully means, compare a series like In Space with Markiplier to a series like, I don't know, Interstellar, and you can suddenly see like the difference in shot composition, lighting, all that. And I will say, the first 30 minutes, it's slow. This whole film is a slow burn, and if I'm being honest, the film was like 2 hours long. 30 minutes probably could have been cut down, and with a good portion of that cut down time probably coming in that first, third or quarter of the movie. You get what I mean. Did it bug me personally? No, because I enjoy slow burns, and that is definitely in theme of the game, and the idea of it being a slow burn, that was all very much intentional. But again, probably it could be improved in the future, but it doesn't really bother me that much. Another thing that I feel like could be improved a lot is the sound mixing. Now, again, the way they mix things are very intentional to be disorienting and to not fully understand what the fuck is going on. But there were many times when I'm gonna avoid spoilers because, I want y'all to still see it, so I'm just gonna be kind of vague. There are external voices that come in through a speaker, and at times the voices get kind of distorted. Now, I know that sounds very hypocritical coming from me with my own voice distortion, but the way that the music was mixed, how everyone was kind of yelling over each other, and it'd be difficult to understand what are they actually responding to, especially when Mark's character, Simon, you could understand him pretty well, but what was being said on the intercom, yeah, it could be rough at times. I know that's by intention, because you're supposed to feel disoriented, but I feel like there could have been better ways of mixing it. But again, I don't feel it's a big deal. Once this film comes to home media, or you can easily access it at home and you can turn on subtitles, I probably wouldn't have even thought about that. But in theaters, yeah, it could be a little bit thing. Hell, that could just be my own theater having inoptimal sound mixing, but from what I've heard with other people, others share the same sentiment. But let's go back to some pros I like. Again, directing, great. How shots were composed, fantastic. And the thing I loved most, I think, is the atmosphere that was able to be captured. Just that sinking feeling of dread throughout. I think they did phenomenally. Especially because, even though this classified as a horror, there are many horror elements, and I think that it captures that tension beautifully. There are so many times when my asshole was puckered, I was thinking, oh shit, what's going on, what's going on? Especially if you played the original game, you know how things end, so you're wondering, when is it going to happen? When's it going to happen? How is it going to happen? And all of that. So again, that's why I say, I think you get the most out of it if you've played the initial game. But I digress. Something else I absolutely loved was the use of practical effects. With how many low budget movies rely on, put simply, shitty CGI, I was at time worried because I knew that they used a lot of practical blood. I mean, this broke the record for the most amount of practical blood or fake blood used in a film production, and they do use it very well. Things escalate at the end, of course, but yeah, just the practical effects used in the whole gimbal, rotating sub, on set, moving set that they used, fantastic. I absolutely loved it. And yeah, as I've said earlier, I am a big fan of Eldritch horror, and they captured that dread in the unknown of I don't know what's going on, or this is incomprehensible. They captured that feeling perfectly. So again, if you are a fan of Eldritch horror, go see this. They captured that beautifully. Now I was more positive. Let's talk about something that I think is more negative. Now, I don't think this is a spoiler. I don't consider it a spoiler, but again, I want to give full warning. This may be perceived, because I'm talking a little bit at the end, I'm not going to go into specifics, but I do want to feel about my overall feelings. Not going into specifics, just my feelings. Alright? You got plenty of warning. I think you already know. You should go see it. That should be it. Alright? Now, how I feel about the ending, I thought it was very abrupt. Again, I know that's by intention. All my complaints so far, they've all been by intention, because, again, the abrupt ending is what happens in the game, and they're replicating that in some way. But for me, I felt like there was no declining action, so to speak. If you know how most stories are going or portrayed, there is you start at the beginning, there's a slow rising action to the climax. Once the climax is reached, it slowly descends back down to, state of calm, and that's usually how most films end. For this, I feel like the climax built until the end. The climax hit right at the end, and then it just ended right there. The film just ends right then as soon as the climax is reached. So, yeah, the ending, I feel, can be a bit abrupt. It didn't bother me too much, but it does feel like it can give some whiplash, especially if you aren't prepared for it. And maybe there could have been a better, or how to say, more definitive descending action right there after the main climax was hit, because, again, with the ending, as soon as the climax reaches, I feel gave some whiplash, but again, not a big deal. And even though I feel being a little bit critical and having some nitpicks, don't mistake it all. All movies have flaws. I'm critical of every media I watch, and I want to say, even though this movie has flaws, it's not perfect. For this being the first main blockbuster of Markiplier, holy shit. This being his first directorial debut, fucking hell, this was nothing short of incredible. And I'm just gonna get a little bit sappy and sentimental here. I am so goddamn proud of Markiplier. And here we go. I'm going to be delving into parasocial territory. Oh no, parasociality. I don't know Markiplier. Why do I care this much? Listen, I've been a fan for Mark for a long time, and seeing how he's grown as a creative and seeing just going from YouTube series to TV shows to audio dramas to a whole movie, it's nothing short of inspiring and nothing short of amazing. And I've seen some people talk about this, but I want to mention it also. The fact that he's not ashamed to be a YouTuber, because in the film itself, he's credited as Markiplier. I feel like many people see you being a YouTuber with a little bit of shame in a ways, and like almost at a stepping school to get into more legitimate art forms, as it were. And YouTube has its limitations. A lot of the content can be very disposable, but I just find it so respectable that he's not ashamed of being a YouTuber, being seen as a YouTuber, and I think showing that being a YouTuber is not a bad thing, and that people can create amazing works. And I hope he takes a good long break after this, because I know he's been running himself rampant. I mean, with all his projects just going back to back to back to back, barely any time to rest. I mean, you can tell I look up to Markiplier a lot. I really do look up to Markiplier a lot. So yeah, I am just so happy for him. I am so proud of him and just everything he's accomplished. And yeah, I am very happy this film is doing well. And like I said, I am very biased with it, but even so, film is fantastic. I would highly recommend you go see it. And yeah, let me check over my notes. Anything else I want to mention? Because I don't have a script here. I just have notes that I was going over for things I do, because I am not a dedicated reviewer. I am someone who bullshits on the internet. No, that should be everything. I don't think there's anything else I need to mention. So, yeah, I guess if you're still watching it and you need convincing, yeah, that's about it. Go see the film. I think it's fantastic. It's still going to be in theaters for at least another week if you're near an AMC or a Regal Cinema. Most of you are, but yeah, go see it. And I don't really have much else to say. If you haven't seen the film yet, if you're overseas and you want to see the film, I would highly recommend it. Again, if you don't like eldritch horror, it might be a little bit weird, but I want to say firmly, I think this film is great. I would, again, recommend you go see it. And I guess last thing I have to note then is that you can create. Any of y'all, you can create. Part of me is saying that for myself also, but I guess one final thing I want to leave on. In a world full of Mr. Beast wannabe YouTubers, be a Markiplier. Alright, that's enough dick writing for one day. Hope y'all have a damn good one, and I'll see y'all later. Chugga.